with some kind of idea for this.
Just do what I do. Get a bit of blue tack and about 7 books and stick it all on top of each other.
That's pretty much what I'm doing. There we go.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, as long as you can hear me, I'm good.
No, that's good. That's good. Hey,
how are you, man?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. This is a bit random.
It is. But
it's good.
You asked for the opportunity, and I said yes. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. I appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
No problem.
So I might have mentioned this is for my page called Coffee Chats, but you must have misheard me and you thought it was called Breaker Chats.
Breaker Chats?
Ice coffee chats. Is that what you've got? Is it a breaker?
It's a dare.
Oh,
but you're very close.
Because whereabouts are you? You're Sydney way.
I'm up in the Blue Mountains at the moment.
Nice. Yeah, I used to live in Penrith 154 years ago.
You're looking good for your age, then.
I lived in Penrith. I was a trainer with the New South Wales Police. So I lived out at Penrith and Goulburn and Richmond and all those sort of wonderful places.
Oh yeah, I got a mate that's he's actually working at Goulburn at the moment on Eagle FM.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Goulburn's a wonderful place.
I've never been.
Yeah, and I went there as sort of in my early 20s too, and I thought, single guy, early 20s in a country place like Goulburn, but actually I really enjoyed it there. It was good.
Sorry, I'm just turn the volume up.
Yeah. So you on shift today? Are you on shift now, or what's the story?
Yeah, I'm on shift today. So what's the time? 9:35. I start at midday. Let me just check. I'm in the office. This is great. Yeah. Okay. So my first break's at like 12:19. So I got a bit of time.
Okay, great.
200 bit hours.
Yeah, nice. And from what you told me, you've sort of always been in radio.
Yeah, like I tried very hard not to be.
Why do you say that?
I don't know. Like I've always been kind of like a free thinker, I guess. Very independent, even at an early age, and I didn't want to follow my dad's footsteps. I wanted to, make a mark for myself, and I thought
because he was in radio for 40 odd years.
Yeah, he still is.
Wow.
Him and his mates have come up with a business plan of buying like kind of boutique radio stations around the world where they want a holiday. So it's just like a working holiday.
Oh, I love it.
So they've got 2 stations in Hawaii that are both number ones. One in Bali, which they just acquired. So I think they're about 2 or 3 months into that. That'll be number one.
Wow.
They're looking at one at mainland USA, Barbados, Fiji, wherever else they can find little gems to buy.
So it's kind of like pick a place, pick a beautiful spot you want to live and build a radio station around it.
Oh, they're already radio stations there, so they just find ones that aren't really running or operating well.
Yeah.
Because obviously you got to buy the licenses for them and stuff like that. So they pick up pre-existing licensed radio stations, turn them around into number ones, and then make a pretty little profit from that. And
so it's
they
like
just travel around the world.
It's like flipping property, but they're flipping radio stations.
Yeah, except they don't flip them. Yeah, they don't flip them and sell them. They flip them and hold on to them and just start to build on their network. So
that's awesome. So tell me how you fit into all of that then.
Well, like when I was younger, I was like a professional bodyboarder for about 8 to 10 years.
Wow.
So I just traveled and surfed for a long time.
Not in the Blue Mountains though. Where were you?
No. Oh, I'm originally born and bred in WA, but
Cottesloe Beach, is that? Am I right saying somewhere around there?
You are correct, and I did live very close to there actually.
Nice.
Which it's a beautiful spot, not great waves, but it's a great spot in the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the whole world I traveled. It was ridiculous. Every winter I'd go to Hawaii. I'd travel East Coast here, West Coast back home.
All paid for.
Bali. Yeah. Like I had a part-time jobs along the way.
Yeah.
Just to kind of, when it, like the off seasons kind of stuff was on, get a little bit more pocket money and then keep
Wow.
moving on from there.
So,
But
so can I ask about that? Because that's interesting, right? So what's the life of a professional bodyboarder? Because it sounds like the ideal world for any 20-something.
It's not the most high paying sport you can do, I guess.
Unless you're Ben Severson or someone like that.
Oh, good pickup. I like it.
Showing my age, aren't I?
No, man, I know Ben Severson.
Wow.
He was very good. Yeah, like you really got to be at the top of your game, and even then, like it's probably you're getting paid about a tenth of what like stand up surfing kind of relatable to. But I wouldn't change it for the world. It was a lot of fun. Like the difference between surfing and bodyboarding, of that pay difference, the drive and determination is a lot different. So you'll see bodyboarders like they get up earlier, they travel to crazier places, and they, every kind of crazy wave that's found on the planet initially was surfed by a bodyboarder first.
Wow.
And then the stand-ups kind of take it over.
Yeah,
with the mainstream media stuff afterwards.
Did you find that stigma of, because I obviously knowing who Ben Severson is, I bodyboarded when I was in my teenage years, and obviously would have been nowhere near as good as you, so I gave up not long after. But did you get, being a good bodyboarder, did you get that stigma from the surfers and external of the surfing world of, you're just a bodyboarder?
It's a crazy world, like the surfing world. So like the better you got, and the higher up you were with the higher up surfers, the stigma was less, because everyone kind of realized that we're all at a professional level, we're all trying to make money, and we're all doing this for
there.
Yeah, because it's it's a job. Like we all understood that it was a job.
Got it.
There was a little bit every now and then, like with a couple of people, but nothing like major. It was normally the people that were less able and that had just been, brainwashed with like propaganda from surfing mags and stuff like that, and they're just like fucking bodyboarders, and you're like, mate, you don't even know. Like, just get out of the water.
Yeah.
But they, like you never really bother with their opinions, because the opinion of a person that's not very like high up but that judgmental, I just kind of like dismiss.
Yeah,
so it's pretty easy.
100%. So how far did you get with the bodybuilding? Are you still bodyboarding now? Obviously not being in the Blue Mountains, but
I do it as much as I possibly can.
Yeah.
I can still perform at a fairly high level. But yeah, it's kind of taken a backseat for now, just whilst I'm doing this until I move in the progression of this career. The next step is a lot closer to the beach, so like I'm pretty happy with that.
Just be like your old man and head out to Bali or wherever.
Yeah, well, I think quietly they've got me earmarked to kind of come in and start taking over once they get to an age where they can't do it or don't want to do it, or leave their legacy behind with their children, kind of thing. So they're slowly grooming me, and after, I don't know, I've been here for like 5 months, so the next 6-7 months will be kind of solidifying my position, moving forward into the next step of my career, and then also traveling the world, helping them in parts with their radio stations. So,
mate, you've got it all set, it sounds like.
It's how do I explain this? It's a lot of fun. I can't complain. Like I talk shit on air for a couple of hours a day, like which is great. People know you, and like if you're really aware of how radio works, and business works as well, you can use it to your advantage massively, like always for good, not for evil. But you know,
explain
like,
that to me.
You get lots, or like, you know, like you get a lot of free products. You get a lot of free tickets to go to places. People love you because, you know, you're like an iconic person as such.
But I'm guessing it's a win-win though, right? Like they're helping you out, but you're obviously helping them out at the same time.
Yeah, no, like it's not all take and no give as such. But you know, like radio is. I don't know who developed the business plan to begin with, like way back in the day, but man, it is it's scarily or it's scary how it works and how people are just fine with it, I guess, like in my mental sense anyway. People give you free stuff. They pay you for the privilege for you to give away their free stuff. So like, you look amazing by giving away free stuff to people, but the people are still paying you for it. Like, it's a double-edged sword, but you know, like the most beautiful double-edged sword you can ever think of.
Sure.
It's cool.
So tell me about like you mentioned there, knowing the radio game. What does that mean? What is the radio game? And tell me this, what's the future of radio? Because, you know, things like TV are faster and faster getting overtaken by Netflix, by internet, by YouTube and things like that. Where does radio sit over the next 10, 20 plus years?
Great question. Like, I say that because my dad and I, we're always talking about, you know, like radio, like human behavior, like all that kind of stuff as well. The future for radio, it's been pinned as a dying medium for about 50 odd years now. And you can see that not only it won't die, it's actually gotten stronger over the years, like with the technology that's come along. So people in radio have somehow adapted and then excelled with the pressures that have come along with it, whereas TV is a bit different. And I think the future for radio is it's not going anywhere. Like, it's not going anywhere at all. My dad and I had this discussion, it's probably about a year and a bit ago now, about, you know, like you talk about Netflix and Stan and like that taking over TV.
Yeah.
And we talked about the potential threats of like Pandora or Spotify. Yeah. Like taking over. Podcasts, all that kind of stuff. Like, there is a spot for them within this, but they're not going to take over because of human behavior, which is a great thing for us anyway in radio.
Explain that to me. How does human behavior fall into what we're talking about?
Okay, so the stupid thing is that the formula behind radio, the way that it's set up to give you the right feel, the right kind of vibe, to hit like certain demographics. Excuse me. Hang on. Let me just retrace what I'm doing. Yeah. Okay. So like the way that we understand the listener more than the listener understands themselves. A perfect example is looking at your. I don't want to say iTunes specifically, but let's just look at your iTunes library, right? A lot of people, if you're a music collector, you end up with like 7,000 songs. You know, like, and you look at the bottom and it's like you got 24 days worth of music to be able to listen to. Like, you have everything in the world that you could ever possibly want to listen to, but you still listen to radio, right? Yeah. Because you don't know how to construct your playlists to keep yourself happy. Plus radio takes away that thought or that effort, right? So
having to make a choice.
You don't have to make a choice. If you make a choice and your friend hates it, like it's a clash. Whereas if the radio plays the wrong song and you
Like
guys
radio.
don't like it. Yeah, like you guys can bitch about the radio, but you'll still listen to it because you don't quite know what the next song is going to be anyway.
Got it. I was having this discussion with my partner in regards to Netflix. And if I come home with 2 DVDs from the DVD box, it's either we watch number 1 or number 2.
Yep.
But if we scroll through Netflix, there's endless amounts of stuff we can watch, and we go, we can't make a choice. You've got so many choices, you don't know what to choose, right?
Yes. I completely agree. Continue, please.
And I think because, being a human, I definitely agree with what you're saying. I can get into my car and just, hit the local station, and then I don't have to think. It's one less thing I have to worry about. And you know what, for me personally, yes, is a big part of it, but also I'll get engaged by a good announcer, a good person that I can relate to, and hence why I won't go to the teeny bopper station, because being in my mid to late 30s, that doesn't resonate.
It's unrelatable. Yeah,
exactly.
You've hit the nail on the head, like exactly, like, because we broke it down into 2 parts, right? Like, so one is the fact that we understand you more than you understand yourself with music choice. And the art and science behind it is, like down to a finite point. Like the actual structure and DNA of radio is a lot deeper than what other people think. Like, you don't just play all the current hot songs. Like, you have them in certain choices, different like tempos, women speaking or singing, men speaking. Like the construction of it's crazy, because it's variety within consistency, like, is the job that we really have to do. So to make it consistent enough for you to feel comfortable, but create enough variety for you to still be intrigued. Like,
keep it fresh.
Yeah, keep it fresh. So Dad and I did this. Like, we did break it down into 2 parts. So just musically wise, the fact that you can zone in and out of a radio station is one reason for it to never die. Because the fact of human behavior is that if you've got a playlist or your friend's got a playlist, you listen intently and you judge intently on that. Whereas a radio station, you can go, I don't really like that song, kind of switch off, still play it in the background, and then all of a sudden a song will come on that you like and you switch back on.
And you're back into it again.
Yeah, and you can't judge the radio station like your best friend with the playlist. And you can't change the music. So it's out of your control.
Yeah.
So you kind of zone in and out whenever you want. Like, it's great.
Yeah.
Plus, as you said, the presenter, if they're good or funny or relatable, the job of a presenter, like, especially these days, is you've kind of got 2 places, like the car. So you want to make it feel like you're the best friend in the car sitting next to the guy driving. So when you're driving and you turn on the radio, like, we want you to feel like we're sitting next to you, talking directly to you.
You're talking to your mate.
Yeah. And you can yell at the radio with the stuff that we converse about, even though we don't even know each other. Like that. That's the level that we want to get it to.
Yeah.
Plus, everyone likes a little bit of randomness in their life as well. So listening to somebody with a different point of view, or something crazy comes up that you've never even thought of, gets presented to you on the radio. So, and the fact that you're already pre-positioned to, or trained as such, that we have adverts and stuff within the radio format, but the way that Spotify or Pandora or whatever do their adverts, it becomes super intrusive, as opposed to it just being there and you being able to switch off. So again, it was all about the mindset, or human behavior, as to why radio still has a massively strong future.
Yeah, I agree 100%. if I can jump in, mate, too, I think a good thing that I notice about radio, and it's, you know, I'm a creature of comfort. So if I find a station that I enjoy, that becomes the station, and it's just always on. But also, depending on the time of day, depends on the word probably isn't ambience, but I'll use that anyway. The ambience of the day. So, for example, your 6 or 9 or 5 to 9 becomes that breakfast hours, obviously, and you've got a different vibe in those 4 hours as opposed to your lunchtime thing, as opposed to the evening as opposed to the midnight thing. And I'll enjoy the breakfast thing just as much as, say, the midnight presenter, you know, because I'm in a different vibe, for want of a better word. I'm in a different vibe for the day at that point, and I might be on a long drive, and, you know, but you don't get that with your iTunes, your Pandora, your whatever. It's just that same vibe, no matter what time of day.
Yes. Again, you've got this nailed. I don't even need to speak.
Tell your dad if you need someone in Bali, let me know.
I'm still waiting for my invite.
You get the call up, you get your boogie board ready to go.
Yeah, no, he's like he's hounding me, but I will let him know that I found another guy that actually understands radio.
Hey, go on.
Sorry, you're completely right. The again, the formatics of this, like, breakfast radio is fairly standardly 2 men, 1 female, because breakfast radio it's slightly more it's slightly more female skewed and family skewed, because it's, you know, the early morning, the family's getting up, the family's driving the kids to school, like the majority, right? Like, or you're going to TAFE or uni, or, you know, like all that kind of stuff, or work. So, you know, like, you've got the female for feelings and the women's voice. You've got the men to be funny, and one of them to usually be a little bit cheeky and crude, like to cover all your demographics.
Bases,
and that's really suited for the everyday listener, which an everyday listener, like, you roughly gauge it at about 20 minutes. They normally listen to a radio station for 20 minutes.
Okay.
That's the rough kind of science behind it. The during the day is, you know, like, the people at work with the radio on in the background, so they don't want to have to listen to 3 minutes of conversation. They just want songs. They just want music. They want music. Maybe every now and then someone come in like, hey, like, how are you? Like, hope you're having a good day. Here's another song. Like, nothing over the top, not too much engagement, because the people at work can't. Yeah, they're working. They can't actually engage.
Yeah.
So it's background noise. They can tune in and tune out whenever they want. And then the drive home, you know, like, you finish work, you're in a good mood, or you're either in a good mood or a bad mood, but you're still glad that fucking work is finished, right? Like, you're a little bit looser, like, in the sense of the content that can be delivered to you can be a little bit crazier, and for you to be more forgiving, because it's the end of the day. And then at nighttime, you know, you just want to listen, or dependent on what type of day, like, R&B Friday night is one of the best things that's come out over about the last year. And that's really, you know, like, the moment, or the feeling or the vibe is Friday night, the weekend's coming, party music, drinks are on, let's have some fun. And that's kind of like an old block form of radio, but it works specifically for a Friday night. It works really, really well.
Got it. So thanks for explaining that. That's really interesting, especially a bit about 20 minutes. That surprises me that people are only, and that's obviously an average, so they're only listening for 20 minutes. But I'm intrigued about what your dad and his mates, and obviously that you're getting into as well, that they're going into these maybe underperforming stations. What sort of things are you guys immediately looking at turning around?
Oh, okay.
Like, can you go into a radio station and go, right, this isn't working because of A, B, and C?
Yeah. All right. So, like, I can't take too much credit for Dad's 40 odd years experience plus his mates' experience, like, and how good they are at this, right? But I can't help explain it if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So going into a radio station, like, again, there's framework and there's formats, like, for everything. Like, again, like I talked about the DNA of radio, which, like, not many people, like, I don't want to bore you because it takes way too long to explain.
Yeah.
But the like even from just the structure of how you put the music in is specifically designed on a 1 hour clock. So you've got like a 1 hour block. Within that hour, you want the same feel, the same consistency, yet variety. So every time you turn on the radio station, you get the same feeling, the same vibe.
Got it.
So if you're going to play, well, let's just say 10 songs of Ed Sheeran all at once.
Please don't do that.
Yeah, no, like, this is an example of like a bad radio station.
Yeah,
like, even though Ed Sheeran's absolutely amazing, right? Like,
He
you don't
is.
want to hear him 10. You don't want to hear him 10 songs in a row.
Don't hear anyone 10 songs in a row, right?
No, you don't. Like, you want it consistent, but you want variety, right? Like, so look, I'll even give you a perfect example right now, on our screen, right? So, funnily enough, Ed Sheeran, Galway Girl, and Veronica's. it's one of his new songs. Then we've got Veronica's Leave Me Alone, John Newman, Love Me Again, Galantis, Make Me Feel, and then Winter Gordon, Buy My Love. Sorry, can't read properly. All right, so like that's a 20-minute block.
So let me jump in real quick. So who is Move FM's target market?
20, let's say 20 to 40-year-olds, female skewed. So like, even though it's not 100% female skewed, it would be like 70-30.
Yeah.
As such, like, you probably wouldn't want to listen to it. It would, you would be more like a Triple M kind of person, I'm assuming. Triple M, Triple J kind of thing.
Yeah, okay. And is a lot of your dad and his mates' projects, are they that similar 20 to 40 female skew, or is it a variety?
It's whatever they want, basically. So what they do is they do the research, who's like the designated purchaser, like, within a group, who's got the most buying power, what competitors do they have within that market space, where do they directly want to target, and then basically go from there. So like, if they realize that there's lots of women who are in the decision making, like, power spot, they will design it more specifically for women. If it's men, they'll go for men, like, and they'll put themselves in a spot within the market that's not already been taken over.
Got it.
Usually. So like, they'll find a spot that they sit really well in, and design the actual radio station from that. So it's like back into business first, and then give the front of it afterwards.
Got it. How much pulling power, for want of a better term, do sponsors have, advertisers have? Like, for example, when you guys are going into a new project, do you look at the sponsors that are there and go, okay, we really need to ramp this up? Like, do the sponsors, are they the be all and end all of a radio station, I guess, is the question I'm trying to ask.
No, that this is a very multifaceted question. Yes and no. Like, so it's just like any other business, really. So,
Sure.
like, your customers and your clients dictate if you're going to make money or not, basically. So you need to accommodate and facilitate for your customers or your clients or businesses, right? So again, with the market research, you find out what types of businesses are out there, roughly how much they're making, what type of advertisement packages they can kind of afford, and what kind of benefits or return on investment they're going to get from that. So there's a lot of research done in it. Like they don't dictate what they do. It just helps with aligning everything for it to make sense and for it to be easier to make money, I guess.
Okay.
On the back end.
Is there
any? Sorry, I just have to stop you there. Because the back end of business, like even though that's the focal point for setting it up to make sure it's economically viable, it's normally the creative front end of business that gets done first, and then the byproduct of that is and stuff like that. So, we create our own attraction model and then bring people in from that way.
Right. Is a big thing, or maybe the only thing advertisers are interested in, is how many listeners there is, and at what time of day?
They should be concerned about that. That should be one of their questions, but not specifically. Like, so you've got personal buy-in as well. So people will advertise with you because they like you. People will advertise with you because radio makes a lot of sense. Like the return on investment in radio is ridiculous, like compared to TV or print. Like print is terrible at the moment.
Do people still advertise in newspapers?
I'm unsure. Like I think they do, but I don't know.
Is there still?
I just need to grab my charger. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah, sweet.
All sorted.
Too easy. Whew. All right, that was close.
We're talking about advertisers and sponsors, and how interested are they in the amount of listeners that you have? Is that a big thing for them?
It is a big thing. So I don't know what you want out of this question. It is a big thing. So like we do surveys to find out, like who's the most popular radio station, all that kind of stuff. Like obviously being number one means that you have the most listeners. But then they cut that down into demographics. So
and then you said, and just so you know, I'm not sort of leading this any old way, but I'm just interested. But you then mentioned there's personal buy-in. What did you mean by that?
Well, say you own, like you're a successful business owner, you own a company, and your favorite radio station will be the one that you want to advertise with.
Got it.
Just because you like how they sound, so you think that they can be influential. Like if that makes sense. Like even though there's no specific data or survey or like research done into it, because you personally like that station, you think everyone else will like it, so you've got like this weird personal buy-in. So people will advertise with you because they like you, and then again, radio is very complex, believe it or not. Like your presenters, the way that you do stuff off air as well, like off air advertising and interaction is a massive thing as well. So you could be the number one radio station because people listen to you, but if you have no real interaction or connection with the community, or like let's just say listenership around you, that will create kind of like a brick wall and a variance between you and the client. So we spend a lot of time doing like outside broadcasts, mingling with people within the community, and like getting heavily involved in that as well. So,
got it.
If we're working hard and trying to make a difference to the community, people will work hard and try use us because they understand that, like it's a you scratch our back, we'll scratch your kind
Yeah,
of
it's a
area.
win-win, right? Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Whereabouts is Move FM currently in that Blue Mountains area?
We are situated in Lithgow, which is a small town out of Katoomba.
Yeah.
In between Katoomba and Bathurst, basically. And we service about 100,000 listeners.
100,000
at the moment. 180,000.
Sorry, you froze for half a second there. So when I said whereabouts are you, I meant more so in regards to other radio stations.
Okay. We kind of have a bit of a monopoly around here, which is good. It can make you complacent and lazy at times, but we try very hard not to. Where are we? We are this is a regional radio station, is what it's classed as.
Yeah.
It's not a major Sydney network station like 2Day or something like that.
Got it.
But again, like if you can't perform at a high level like here, you can't perform at a high level anywhere else.
Exactly. You would struggle anywhere, yeah.
Yeah, and I got headhunted for this job, so I graciously took it, and it's a stepping stone for the next part. So
what's the next part?
It's moving to a larger network, a larger listenership.
Yeah.
Which will be a semi-major commercial radio station.
Yeah.
I can't give away too. Yeah, yes, it will be very close to the beach. It is very close to the beach. Like the place that I'm being earmarked for, I can't really talk about it too much.
No, you're right.
I'd get my ass kicked.
Yeah, but, don't say anything. That's fine. I mean, can I take you back a step though? You said,
yep.
You know, you can, being number one, you can get complacent and lazy and rest on your success, and I agree with that 100%. You know, I like to say, if you're number one, pretend you're number two to always keep you striving. How does Move FM do that?
Oh, that's all right. That's a funny question. Before I got here, they weren't really doing too much. But that wasn't. There's no detriment to them. They were very low staffed. And a couple of people were changing careers and stuff. So they didn't really have the choice to really excel, and they just kind of coasted through with what they'd already done for a long time, with no pest or SWOT analysis or anything like that. But the mentality that my dad and myself have is that if you're not learning and if you're not excelling, then you're not growing. And you may as well just give up. So there's never that sense of complacency. We're number one. There's nothing better we can do. There's always challenges every day to kind of eke out the most you possibly can from your creative side and the business side as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're actually been developing really, really intricate and integrated sponsorship kind of back-end business stuff to coincide with the on-air content and relatable content with the listeners as well. So
got it.
We're working really hard to open up the advertising space without having to specifically annoy people. Not intrude the way that they work. So
do you mean in terms of sourcing out new advertisers, or actually advertising on air?
So it's not actually advertisement, it's sponsorship through the radio station, showcasing something else.
Got it.
So there's 3 layers that you have to kind of go through before you realize that we're actually being paid to do it. It's not in a deceptive way, it's just a really, really good client product fit. So the way that I do it is that I am fairly creative, I guess. So I'll come up with concepts and ideas of what I'm going to do on radio, and then go, all right, now, like, who can we attach to this that makes perfect sense? So a good example is one of that we're doing right now. Actually, this is hot off the press.
Oh, look out!
We haven't. It is a bit of a scoop, but I had bronchitis last week, so I'm just getting over that. So there's a restaurant in town. They play live and local music Tuesday nights and Friday nights. So they're heavily involved in the community, and they really want to help like young musicians kind of get to the next level, or like make money from it, like to give them the taste and kind of help them from that. So I developed it's not a great name, but this is called Live and Local, right? So once a month on a Tuesday, the person that's going to be playing at the restaurant comes in and is my co-host for the 3 hours that I'm on air.
Got it.
They you do like a little bit of an interview with them, find out like their dreams and their aspirations, let everyone know that they're playing at the restaurant that like specific night. Then they play like a cover or one of their originals. So they play 2 songs over the 3 hours, all thanks to the old exchange. Let's say Braden's one of the guys.
Yeah.
Here's an original by Braden. You can hear him tonight at 7 p.m. at the restaurant. So there's no real production work. There's no real advertisement work.
There's no deliberate advertising.
Yeah, and there's no push to sell.
Got it.
It's all about letting people hear their story and hear their talent, and then they can make up their mind if they want to go to the restaurant and see them later that day.
So is the restaurant then paying for that opportunity?
Yes. Yeah. They pay for the privilege.
Yeah.
Let's not.
It's a win-win, right? Of course.
Yeah. Like they pay for the privilege of it being advertised, and the fact that again, this is where the personal buy-in comes in, because they're passionate about like musicians and the young artists, so they want this to happen, and the money is kind of a byproduct of it. Obviously, we do our numbers, and we do the research behind the scenes to make sure that their return on investment is always at a positive. Like obviously it's projected because it's not actually done yet, but let's say it costs them $1,000 a month, which is 10 tables at $100 over a month. So you do that 20 days, which is what is it? So their return on investment means that they need one extra person in the restaurant a day for 20 days.
That's right.
Which is pretty easy.
Yeah, and also, and I've owned businesses before, that's the direct ROI, right? That's the direct return on investment. But also every time you're speaking with the artist or you're speaking with the owner of the restaurant, that's another touch point for someone to say, yeah, we need to go to that restaurant. We need to go, and it's always in people's heads.
Yes, exactly. Like, and again, it's not like, come to our restaurant, we're fucking amazing and we really care about these people. Like, we don't talk about that at all. It's more about the artist and them being there. The fact that the restaurant has, always quality food, always quality staff. Like it's kind of a must-have these days anyway. Like, exactly. So the fact that they've got that is good. Like, we don't have to showcase their food or their service because it's fairly well renowned that's already at a very, very high standard. And the point of difference in town at the moment is that they play live music with these young, talented people. Yeah. And like, you go to the restaurant and it's an amazing time.
Exactly. Do you think that advertising on radio and podcasts, for that matter, is going more that way, the less deliberate, in your face ads versus just the dissolved into the actual content type of advertising?
If you're smart enough, you would be. You'd definitely be going in that direction. look, let's not sugarcoat it. Hamish and Andy have been doing it for like 6 or 7 years now.
Yeah, okay. I can't stand listening to those two, by the way.
Yeah, like
just on
me personally, I liked them when they first started. When it was really spontaneous and like they actually had no idea what was going on, and like they were throwing ideas out there, and then all of a sudden it would scripted and pre-planned. And I don't know, for people that are onto it, it becomes pretty obvious pretty quickly. A lot of other people have no idea. But yeah, I like them as people. I just don't want to listen to them on the radio anymore.
Sure. Mate, let me ask one of you, maybe a little bit selfish, but I'll ask it anyway.
Yeah, do it.
What does, besides being a Hamish and Andy or recognisable face, what's the path someone would go to have a regular spot on radio? We don't all have dads that have 40 years experience, unfortunately.
Yes. So like for me, this is a hard question, like, because I have to split it into like the fortunate reality of my life and then the reality of everybody else.
Yeah.
All right. So I did study a advanced diploma in broadcast radio at TAFE. There's one in WA that is really, really good. Like I can't speak highly enough of how well they've designed this course to prep you for radio. You just have to be a character, really. Your voice these days doesn't really matter. Like it does help having that deep, soothing voice. But again, like I never thought I had a voice for radio, and then people just went, "Oh yeah, you sound perfect." It's like you guys are mental. Yeah. And I never wanted to be the talent, but the point of the story is that like there's I know there's a TAFE course back home. I know that there's a sound audio engineering course in and around Sydney somewhere. I don't know the specifics of it, but these are the avenues that kind of get you into radio. Got it. Apparently, participating in a reality TV show will get you there.
Well said.
I don't know who came up with that because I think it's a fucking horrendous idea. But yeah, you can do that.
but something like that, is that because that's a recognisable face, albeit for 15 minutes, but they're recognisable, so that will get viewers, that will get listeners? Sorry.
All right. So there's two parts. Like, if we're talking briefly, there's two parts to this story. One, they're recognisable, so then all of a sudden their opinion matters, even though it's only 15 minutes. And also they are media prepped and trained. So
yeah, okay.
You don't have that worry about them freezing up or not being like terribly good at something or like all that kind of stuff. So they've done all their media training and prep. All you got to do is put them on air, basically. Yeah. So it's I can see why it's appealing, but I personally wouldn't do it unless it was somebody that was like a massive character or like celeb. I guess Fitzy's probably.
I was going to mention Fitzy. Like he seems to have been one that stood the test of time, right?
He nailed it. Like, because he like, even though he fits in that category of 15-minute of famer kind of person, he is a genuine character.
Yeah, and he
like,
had that personality beforehand.
Yeah. So like, I think he was going to be successful anyway. Like, no matter what pigeonhole you put him in or like direction he was going to go in. But the other ones aren't terribly good.
and people power speaks though too, doesn't it? Like if it is a Hotdogs or someone where you just go, mate, you're just a clown and I don't want to listen to you, people will very quickly let you know that with their ears, I guess.
Yeah. Like obviously luckily some of them have felt the wrath of reality and what real people think about them. Hotdogs is a good example, I guess, of the people standing up and making a choice and letting you know that not everyone is cut out for that kind of medium as such. Like, even though he was media trained, had a little bit of celebrity status, like, so you could easily fit him in. He was just a dick, basically.
Yeah,
And,
there's a lot to be
good.
said for having an element of brains and intelligence too, right?
Oh yeah, like again, like even with personal not being massive fans of Hamish and Andy, like especially now, but they are like very switched on. They work very, very, very hard behind the scenes, and like again, like the way that they have front end of making it sound like they're very comfortable and having a good laugh, and everything's very spontaneous. It's not like it's that, like, they're in the briefs, they're in the debriefs, they've got notes.
Yeah,
they're taking like lots of notes. They do lots of rehearsals, practice.
they're all over it.
They come in and they do their job, and they do it well. Like even though personal preference doesn't completely agree at the moment, but you know what I mean. Like, other people love them, and they're getting paid a shitload of money. Like Kyle Sandilands is another one.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Kyle's.
He actually used to live with Dad and I back in Perth.
Wow, serious?
Yeah, man.
Good guy. Personally, a good guy. Oh, okay, don't answer that.
No, like, he is. He actually is. Like, he's a big teddy bear. Like, he's like an onion. Like, there's many layers. But deep down inside, he's a big softy. But you do have to get through a few layers to figure that one out. Sure. But he does speak the truth, and even though not many people like it all the time, it is his honest opinion, and he truly does believe what he says. Like, what he says.
No, I've got a lot of time for that, and
yeah,
we don't. Yeah, I was just going to say we don't get. I'm sort of 2 hours northwest, or 3 hours, sorry, northwest of Brisbane, near Kingaroy, and we don't get that at the station that he's on. But when I do get a chance to listen to him, I always enjoy it.
Oh, you don't have the app, the radio?
Oh, well,
app.
there you go. I could do that. That's a good idea. Thank you. I'll do that. Same with Move FM, straight to my phone. Yeah.
Not yet, because we don't stream live.
Okay.
Long story short, it should have happened 2 years ago when Dad was here, but it took a back burner. Like, actually, no, there is a reason behind it. The APRA wanted wanted royalties.
Yeah.
And the prices for streaming were ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, even though you pay for it on air transmitting like an actual frequency, they wanted extra for the on air stuff, which is baloney, I believe. Anyway.
Yeah, right.
But
APRA's an interesting monster, isn't it?
Yes. It's like a union, you know, like the builders unions. Like, you see all the crazy kind of people shuffling their weight around trying to make a difference, like, if for personal gain or for the gain of masses, who knows? But they finally figured that out, and the cost of it now is basically nothing if you already have like an existing license. So,
okay, which I'm assuming you guys do.
Yes, yeah. So I actually spoke to the sales lady yesterday that we're going to relaunch our website and live streaming very shortly.
Nice.
We're 2 years behind, and we completely understand that, but we still need to get it done.
Well, at least you're moving forward. It's more than most people and most businesses.
Yeah.
So just to go back a step, so in regards to that, like you said, all the 15-minute celebrities have that element of media training and media practice. Is that kind of what you mean by doing these advanced diplomas and TAFE courses, or is that a separate thing again?
Okay, so the advanced diploma in broadcast radio that I did in WA, it tackled every different kind of aspect of radio. Like, even the way that the building was set up was basically built like a radio station. So you've got like you've got the studios, you've got like the boss's office, you've got a meeting board room, like all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
the way that a normal radio station works was how we worked. So it was basically
That's cool.
on the job. Yeah, it was basically on the job training.
Yeah.
We had our own live community radio station. We actually had two, funnily enough.
Wow.
So there's one for like the year above, and then there's one for the first create their own radio station from scratch. And again, it goes through the exact DNA of radio from start to finish, not just being on air and being a talent on air. Like, so you actually do understand the business through and through, like back and front.
Got it.
Yeah, and like there's different aspects. Like not everyone wants to be in radio to be on air.
Sure.
Some people want to be salespeople. Some people want to be program directors. Some people want to be just managers, or just want to be involved in radio like somehow. And this course really helped like show you all the different aspects, and then you can just kind of find out what you love and where you fit, and kind of go from there.
So from a business perspective, if someone came to a station, if someone came to Move FM and said, I want an hour a week to talk about X, Y, Z, and I have 3 advertisers that will advertise that hour, like is something like that done? Is that a done thing?
All right. Like, so do you mean like someone comes up and goes, I want to do an hour show personally? Is that what you mean? Like, they come up and go, I want to be able to talk on radio, and I've got advertisers to pay for it.
Yeah. So I see it a lot with, they'll do a Sunday morning property hour, and it brought to you by XYZ buildings, blah, blah, blah.
Okay. It can and does happen, but the ultimate decision is based on the brand fit.
Of course.
Let's say Beatrice comes along.
Beatrice.
I'm just using that name. Yeah, like you can already picture her, right? Like she's 65, 70 years old.
She does a cooking show. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and she's talking about menopause, or having broken hips and shit like that, like whatever, right? Like
that'll fit right into the Move FM target.
Yeah, no, it would miss drastically, right? So unfortunately, we would have to say like no to that.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't fit the brand. It doesn't fit. That fit is what we're all about, really. Like the fact that it would make us money, like ultimately at the beginning, like you get the cash sum, but you'd lose listenership, you'd lose like authenticity, genuineness. So, and your brand would get diluted within that part. So
exactly,
like
it's not congruent to the brand, right?
Exactly. And like it'd be a tough choice to say yes or no to that, but I personally, like with that one, I'd say no. Some people would say yes just to make a buck, but actually, I wouldn't say no straight away. I would see if we could kind of construct a creative strategy or like proposal like behind that to make it fit. If we can't make it fit and it won't work, then we won't do it.
Okay. And I guess it all comes back to how extensive is your imagination. For example, the restaurant and the muso example you gave earlier, that was something that I'm assuming you created, and it looks like it's going to work quite well. You've got a good advertiser, it's good radio, you'll get good listeners, everyone's winning in that situation. So
there's no downside.
No, 100%. So with something like that, if whoever come in and said, okay, I want to do this thing, it's an hour a week. If it's a win-win for both parties, it's something that you'll look at. Is that fair?
Yeah, definitely. So, like radio is a business. We have to be very well aware of this. So if we don't make the money, we don't go on air. So like there is that element or pressure of like hitting budgets and stuff like that. My take on it is to kind of make that easier for us. So instead of like going out and trying to sell to people, it's more about creating the idea that like that fits our radio station and fits what the client wants to get out of it as well. So when I construct all this stuff, they are the questions that I ask myself. Like I've got like 2 massive whiteboards where I start my like brainstorming ideas, and they're brutal and they're very raw and they're very simple, very simple questions. So like what did we do? Like a good example would be Australia Day. We did Let Loose at Lake Lyell, which is a great day.
Just flows off the tongue so well.
Yeah, like the name came way too easily, but no one had ever, like, I don't know, back home, Triple J absolutely owns Australia Day. Like, it's iconic. I don't know how much over here, but I do believe it is probably as strong here as back home. Like, Australia Day is sunny, pool, like, you know, swimming in the pool, all your mates around, backyard cricket,
Triple J,
sausages on the barbecue, Triple J. That's it. Like beer, sorry, like the one extra factor. So like, you know, like there's like it's iconic as such. Like Coke and hot dogs and baseball for America, right? Exactly. Like it's ginormous. But having the monopoly that we have here with the radio station, with the listenership, like, and no one had owned Australia Day before, like at all.
Yeah.
So we went to a client, the Lake Lyell Recreation Centre, I guess what they call it.
Yeah.
Lake Lyell, like Recreation Park, I think is what it's called. They have like a massive lake. It's 10 minutes out of town, and it's fantastic. Like it's, it blew me away when I first saw it. I just went, yeah, we're fucking doing Australia Day here. Like that's it.
Wow.
It was one of those moments where it was just like, it was way too easy. So they have campers that camp over like the holidays. They have day passes, and then they've got like a massive lake around that with like water sports and like a big blow up like gymnasium like on the river thing. Yeah. Like they call it the Aqua Blitz, but you know what I mean. Like it's got the trampolines and the slides and the things you jump on.
That's awesome.
Kayak hire, like all this kind of stuff. So we basically went to them and just went, we want to do like an Australia Day. And we think this place would be the best place to do it. How would you like to sponsor it? And
who did you say that to? The lake itself?
The people, yeah, the people that own the lake itself.
Got it. Yeah.
It's not government owned. It's actually personally owned.
Privately owned. Yeah.
And we gave them the price. They laughed and they said yes very quickly.
And did you say shit? I should have doubled it.
Oh, I didn't do the pricing on this one. Yeah. So it was a team effort, like and it was very late last minute kind of stuff. So we needed to secure it anyway. So the price was relative to how desperate we were to get something locked in, basically. Yeah, we should have charged them more money. It wasn't my decision, but we should. The good news is that we've set it up for this year. Like, so this year is the stepping stone, like the real stepping stone. This one was just getting our foot in the door to own a moment, which we did. So we had a place that's like super popular recreationally throughout the holidays. We made it sound like it was ours. The client paid for the privilege, and everyone had a great time. So like constructing that one was way too easy. Like the client station fit was like perfect to the T.
Sometimes it just works, right?
Yeah. Like, so we wanted to own Australia Day. Like, or I personally wanted to own Australia Day. I was like, we're doing it here. And they're like, oh, we can't afford it. We don't have the sponsors. I was like, I will work for fucking free. I don't care. Like, we need this moment. Like, and we need to do this throughout the year, right? So we did the longest OB that we've ever done, which is was about 8.5 hours straight. And it was very, very successful. We had over 3,500 people there.
Wow. On Australia Day.
On Australia Day.
Yeah.
Like the whole place was packed. Like
Yeah.
it was absolutely packed. We broadcasted live, which means that on air, everyone heard where we were. At location, we had like massive speakers and everything set up. So the whole place had like a feeling and a vibe and an atmosphere the whole day as well.
Yeah.
And then we just put our like branding, law, recreation park, and us. Bang, we're on. So we built that up. I put my foot down, and I developed the plan for it, and then we executed that all within 10 days. So it was the 16th of January when we
from seed to actually happening in 10 days.
Yeah, and along the way we picked up another 15 sponsors.
Wow!
Just for that moment. So again, it was about the fit, right? Like, so it's hot, it's sunny, it's Australia Day. What's a perfect fit? So like surf stores, because you're going to be wearing board shorts and hats and like wetties, whatever.
Yeah.
Or like wakeboard stores, whatever. Anything to do with food, anything to do with tenting, anything to do with accommodation. Like SunSmart, like stuff like that, like barbecues, things like that. That's so we had all these points of reference of where we can hit up people to sponsor because it's a perfect fit, as opposed to just spend money with us because we need money.
Exactly. Yeah, like you say, it's it all just flows. And Australia Day, it's a public holiday. People want to do something. They are actually listening out to go, where can we go for Australia Day?
And like the moment that there was one moment where it like really hit me about how successful we were, like especially in the short amount of time, was people were complaining about all the other events around town and no one being there because everyone was at Lake Lyell.
Nice.
So like we've done our job, like especially in such a short amount of time. And then so this year or next year, sorry, we've got way more lead up into it. The people that the major sponsors that night and the day after already started talking about the year after. So they've already bought in. They've already bought in for the year after, and we'll charge them a lot more money.
Because it works. Proven it to work.
Yeah. It went from 1,000 people to 3,500 people, just like that.
That's right.
And an extra $2,500, like 1,000 people through their doors on a day. I don't even want to know how much they made, especially how much we charged them.
Well, that's good though, right? Good on them.
Like my dad has always told me, always under promise, always over deliver. Because you're never going to have anyone unhappy with that.
Yeah.
And so next year we're planning fireworks, and we're it's going to be fucking massive.
Nice.
It's going to be huge. So we've gone from a creative, and again, like the way that we design this isn't to do with money. It's the creative, what's engaging, what's fun, what's entertaining, what can we do, and then we design around that. I guess it's a bit backwards the way that other people do it, but it's more genuine. So I like it that way.
Yeah, and mate, if I can jump in, I'm glad you said that word genuine, because this whole sort of chat that we've had, this hour-long chat, I've really gotten that the whole time from you, and obviously that I'm sure flows through with the whole business. So I'll pat on the back to you and your old man there. That's awesome.
Cheers, mate. It brings a smile to my face.
Mate, I'm really glad that we connected. I'm really, really glad we've had this chat. Thanks for your insights. Thanks for being so honest. And if someone's watching this and goes, oh, that was really awesome, and this Tim guy knows a fair bit about the industry, would you be open to anyone asking you a question or, finding out a little bit more about what you do?
Good question. I'm an open book, mate. So if you've got questions, that need answers or whatever, I will endeavour to give you as much as I physically and mentally possibly can.
Yeah. Or tell them to piss off, whatever you want. Either way.
Oh no, like I'm super honest. So like if there's stuff that I can't talk about, like I'll just say, look, I can't talk about.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
What's the best way for them to contact you?
Oh, I don't know. Like how, like you asked me about this interview a day or two ago. Like so, I've done no prep. I've got no idea. Like I didn't even know what the questions were going to be.
I know, right? It worked out all right. Are you happy? It went all right.
Oh mate, I'm stoked.
It was good.
Freaking stoked. Like I'm pumped. Like I'm borderline ADD. I swear to God. It's like hit me up on Facebook. Like if you get any questions from people that need answering, like pass them on to me.
Well, can they go to Move FM and say this question is for Tim?
Yeah, like again, Facebook. Go to our Move FM page or Tim Fowler on Facebook. Yeah, like any of those two. Like those two, hit you up, whatever. Like I don't really mind.
You might get some stalkers though, mate. Are you all right with stalkers?
I think you're giving me too much credit there. I don't think I've had once. I don't think I've had any stalkers in my life.
What happened to your eye?
I played hockey on the weekend. And the ball flicked up and hit me in the face.
Oh, so, true. Wasn't your girlfriend beating you up again, or?
No, I'm single, mate.
Oh, okay. No, we won't touch that. I'll edit that.
Yeah, like so, like through Move FM, through my own personal Facebook, through you, whatever. Like I don't mind at all.
That's awesome.
And I'm more than willing to help. I can give you a good example. So since I've been here, I've started it's a closed group, but it's a Facebook group of all the young artists around town, and I've put them all into one, and I do like mentoring and like I have resources here that can help them out. So like studio time, we can develop them as an artist. We can do mental mindset stuff. We can talk about branding, marketing, get them airplay on air, like all that kind of stuff. So I've developed that as well, like in my own time. I'd sucker for punishment, I swear to God.
All that free time that you have.
Yeah, I get about 7 minutes on a Sunday, and that's about it. But
that's it.
But I understand that like being a muso, and a successful artist is so tough. Like,
sure,
I don't envy him at all. Like, really, to be honest, because it's a very hard industry to get into, and I realize that I have the resources and the capability to help them get to a certain point where the potential of them making it is way greater than what it would be without like anyone like this here.
Yeah.
And I've seen very talented people just slide away and not really make anything of it, even though they deserved it. Like even working hard and doing all the right things, bad luck can
still
come along and just it still happen, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to minimize that and get everyone happy and hopefully successful.
That's awesome. Tim, great chat, mate. Really appreciate your time. Hopefully we cross paths again soon.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much. Like I really do appreciate this, and hit me up anytime.
I'll hold it to that.
Yeah, sweet.
Thanks for that. See you, mate.
Cheers, man. Bye.